This is Catchin' Ice Cream. Thank you so much for making my dreams come true and helping me open my very own ice cream shop. Let's check it out and see how we do things here. First off, we're going to turn on all of our lights. You know me, we're all about playing games here. So one of the things we do at the store is we keep track of all of the ice creams that people catch and all the ice creams that people drop. Now we're going to turn on our frost tops, or as my roommate likes to call them, the polar pebbles. These are display case freezers. We usually turn them off overnight, but we're going to fill these all up with a ton of ice cream balls. And then we're going to fill these two big freezers here with backup ice cream balls, ice cream cakes in a cup, and a ton of ice cream cakes. But speaking of games, you're never going to guess today's emoji. If you want to try, go ahead and throw it down below, but it looks a lot like our logo. Next, we're going to turn on our Mr. Art machines. These are really cool. They're from Carpigiani. They're like soft serve machines, but oh, we forgot to wash our hands. I'm too busy getting excited about playing games. One of the biggest tips I can give you about working at Catchin' Ice Cream is that we are a new store, which means we have a beautiful large hot water heater that works really well. So you want to be very careful with the hot water. It can burn you very fast. As you've noticed, all of our ice cream machines and freezers have special things done to them at night. What I was doing to the Mr. Art is I was taking it off of storage mode. You want to set it to the crystal gelato mode so that you can fill up all the ice cream molds to make ice cream balls. Now that we've scrubbed our hands for 20 seconds, we can rinse all of that extra soap off. Did you know that after you wash your hands, the best way to dry them off is to actually use a single-use paper towel? I don't know if that's actually true, but that's what I'm told. It's actually really cool though. This paper towel machine has a special coating on the handle that doesn't allow bacteria to grow on it, so you don't have to worry about pumping out your paper towels beforehand. We've already turned on this machine, so let's walk around the table here and go ahead and turn on our other one. The first step is hit stop. That's stopping our storage mode. Then we're going to hit the crystal gelato button, hit OK, and then hit it again so we can turn crystal gelato on for both sides of our machine. Once the machines are all turned on, it takes a second for them to really form that ice cream again. But we need to do a few things before we can make ice cream balls. So let's throw away our paper towel, and then we're going to go ahead and make the store look nice and pretty. These are our ice cream cakes in a cup. Each one is made exactly how we'd make an actual ice cream cake, but we just make it inside of a cup so it's easier for you to eat and you don't have to share with anyone. Honestly, the older you get, the more you realize that every day should be celebrated because it can be pretty tough. And you shouldn't have to just celebrate that you're still alive on your birthday. So why not celebrate every day with an ice cream cake in a cup? We're working on getting these nationwide, so if you want an ice cream cake in a cup, very soon you'll be able to order it just from your phone and get it to your doorstep. That way we can all celebrate that we've made it one more day together and eat some ice cream cake. I honestly should sit here and pull every single one of these forward and make sure they all look really nice, but someone else can finish the rest of those later. We have more important things to do right now. One of our most important pieces at the shop is the big old polar pebble here. We have to make sure this is nice and set up so we can crush all the ice cream balls up for you. I know it doesn't seem like it makes any sense to make ice cream into a ball shape just to crush it up, but I promise you throughout this entire video you'll not have any more questions about ice cream balls or why we would crush them. The huge polar pebble has these two sides to it and they need some scrapers. We put the scrapers down so we can scrape off the frost, but also so we can get any extra pieces of ice cream that somehow got stuck to it. Once everything gets scraped off, it goes down into this trough here and the water runs down and pushes it all into a drain. And then these are our spade wells. We turn the water on so that it constantly keeps the spades fresh and clean. Speaking of spades, let's go find some. It took a long time for us to find spades that we could get made for us. Each of our spades has our name on them. It's engraved into it and says Catchin' Ice Cream. We wanted to do it that way because I know that I love the spades, but I also know that you guys love them too. We wanted to make sure we got really high quality ones that you could buy and take home and you'd remember us forever, so we wanted our name on them. So if you ever want to come to the shop and get your own pair of spades, you definitely can, but I promise they're super high quality, so they might be just a little expensive. And hopefully someday soon we'll have all of the merch from the shop linked down below my videos, so if you're seeing this someday in the future, then it'll be linked down below. We only need a few sets of spades out here right now because it's the morning, but later at night we're gonna fill this thing up with a ton of spades. We still got a lot of work to do. If you see, there are no ice cream balls in here and there's still none behind us, so let's check on the ice cream machines and see if they're ready to go. They're not quite ready yet, but we can start preparing the hose to make our ice cream balls. Each of our Mr. Art machines came with 2 hoses. I accidentally locked myself out of the dish room. We're going to go ahead and grab one of our hoses. We don't need any of the other ones right now. We're just going to use one of the machines. A big tip about the hoses is that they fully come apart, so you want to make sure you always have the right pieces and you have all of the pieces together. Every time we clean them, we take them all apart, and so we put all the extra pieces into this black container over here. So I'm going to find the pieces that I don't have together right now. That's mainly the nozzle. It has a nice big huge metal ball that goes in the inside and a big spring. So we want to make sure we put all that together right now so that when we go to eject our ice cream into the molds, everything works properly. Before we put it together, I just like to double check and make sure everything's nice and clean and that all the pieces are working together, because once you put this on the machine and it starts putting ice cream through it, it can get really messy if everything is not done correctly. So always make sure to double check, because you don't want to make a big mess. I've had this thing blow up in my face and squirt ice cream all over the entire room too many times. So trust me, we're gonna do this the right way. You might be a little confused right now because this is your first time, but I promise it's not as complicated as you would think. We're just gonna screw this piece on here, and then we drop the ball in right there, and then we're gonna throw the spring on it right there. Now you just wanna make sure you push down and you hold the nozzle part down, because if not, all of the spring and the ball will fall out onto the floor. I'm saying this because I've done this way too many times. Once this is now tightly on there, we just want to grab the other side and we get to attach that side to the machine. You can also give the handle just a few taps just to make sure that everything's moving correctly before we fill it up with ice cream. These ice cream machines look like your everyday soft serve machine, and in most ways they are, but they can do a lot of extra things beyond that, like this hose. Now that the machine says that the crystal gelato is ready, we can go ahead and connect our hose to the machine. We want to take this little stand off first, just so that it's easier to connect the hose. It's very simple. All you do is pull up and then pull out and it pops right off. And now you can really see the 3 different handles for the ice cream machine. The hose connects to any of these 3 spouts. You can actually do a marbled flavor out into the ice cream balls if you'd like. But before we do this, I like to just disperse a little bit just to check the consistency and also make sure if anything kind of clogged up in there, we get it out before we put it into the hose so it doesn't clog the hose. This is the perfect example of what it feels like to open an ice cream shop. You have your plan and then it gets full of side quest after side quest. Right now, I went to go get a small cup so we could let some of the initial ice cream out before we started using the hose. And now I noticed that this is messed up. It looks like it might be broken, so we're going to try to fix it if possible and then fill it up with cups so we can take a cup back and then test out the ice cream machine. We're going to skip past all the washing, cleaning, and boring stuff, and I'm just going to show you how I fixed this. I just tucked the pin down in there and slid it down, but it was kind of tricky to figure out at first, and now I pushed it all the way in and it sticks in here. So what these pins do is they control how wide the cups are, and so if you have a small cup, they don't all just fall on the floor, and if you have a wide cup, they don't get crushed by the pins. And you just slide this back and forth to increase how wide the pins stick in and out. We have 2 different size cups, so the big cups have it wider, and then the small cups have it a lot smaller. Now we just gotta get that ring and just pop it back on, and we can fill it up with all of our cups. But now we can grab the cup like we originally intended and go test out our ice cream machine. All of our cups are 100% biodegradable. They don't have our names on them yet, but that's because it's really difficult and takes a long time to get them to do that. But this same company is now currently getting it together so that all of our cups will eventually have our name and logo on them, so they won't just be gray. I'd say you've now successfully completed your side quest and you can go ahead and make some ice cream balls. But I have a large feeling that I spoke too soon because, like I told you, this is the perfect example of starting an ice cream shop. It never goes as planned, and there's definitely going to be probably a couple more side quests before we actually get done what we want to get done. First, we're going to go ahead, and it's still not ready. I thought it was ready, but it looks like it's not ready yet. So let's go ahead and clean out these freezers. So another side quest unlocked. These are so important when you make ice cream. They're called hardening cabinets. They get down to negative 40 degrees, and what they do is they lock in the texture and the ice crystals and everything that you love about ice cream. This is what really makes sure that it's delicious. But because they're so cold and it's been moist and rainy out, all of the moisture has got stuck to the sides and then melted down to the bottom and got pretty gross. So we went ahead and cleaned that all off. Now we're gonna go ahead and turn it on and then turn it to the ice cream button and hit start. This is gonna bring it all the way down to that negative 40 we were talking about. These are actually the shelves for these freezers, but we use them as trays to hold all of our ice cream ball molds. So as we fill them, we can just slide them right into the freezer. I'm sorry, I know school just started again, but I'm gonna ask you to do a math problem with me. Each of these shelves holds 4 ice cream ball molds. Each mold makes 8 ice cream balls. And each freezer has 4 spaces for a shelf. And we have 3 freezers. Each ice cream ball takes 40 minutes to freeze. How many ice cream balls can we make in an hour. If the math problem didn't scare you away and you're still here, I just want to say a big thank you. I would not have been able to open this ice cream shop without you, and for that, you deserve a huge thank you. Also, the whole idea to make ice cream balls came from watching you try to recreate my videos at home and make a big, huge ice cream mess. And so I thought, how could I make ice cream that is already a ball that you could throw around that's frozen really solid that won't make a huge mess anywhere? And we ended up with these ice cream balls. To begin to connect the hose, we're gonna screw off the star piece. This makes it so that when you eject it out, it looks really cool like a typical ice cream cone. We're gonna take this piece instead and screw it on. This was one that the ice cream hose connects to. It can sometimes really take a while to screw all this stuff on because you have to really line it up right, but eventually you'll get it on there, don't worry. You wanna make sure it's nice and tight though, or else the ice cream will squirt out of each one of these little cracks. Now we can finally pull it on our handle and begin to fill up the hose with all of this extra ice cream. As the machine works, it becomes pressurized and it's gonna begin to push more and more ice cream through this so then we can squirt it out through the nozzle as we push down the handle. That's also how we're gonna fill each one of our ice cream ball molds right here. You wanna stick the tip directly into the center and just kind of let it grow out around the tip and slowly pull up. You want to have a little bit come over the top of the lip of that ball just so that the balls are fully round and they're nice and full. If not, there'll not be enough ice cream in there and you'll be skipping out the customer that's paying for it. But no pressure, I know this is your first time and thankfully this is a very forgiving process. If you notice that as you're filling up the ice cream molds and you don't fill it up quite enough, you can always go back and just add a little extra more. Typically what I do is I just stick the nozzle down in the center and just give it a little tap, and when you do that, it squirts it through the middle and it pushes it all up to the top. And so you can make sure that you filled it up all the way and you're not skimping the customer out of the precious ice cream that they're hoping for and they're paying for. After you fill up all of your ball molds and we fill up all of the freezers, they're all gonna freeze down to -40. Once they get to -40 and you can squish the ball and it's not breaking at all, then it is time to pop them out into our containers. The easiest way to do this is to wiggle your index finger down the side of it and then push with your thumbs and it should pop right out. There are a few tricks because obviously your fingers are gonna get pretty cold. These are -40 degrees. You can take a spatula and loosen up around the mold so it's just easier to pop each of the balls out. And then once you have your ice cream balls, we're going to begin coating them. Each one is coated in something different. These ones are going to be cookie dough ice cream balls. So we've already scooped out the right amount of cookie dough for each of the balls. We're going to flatten that out in our hand, push the ball into it, and then begin squishing all of this cookie dough all the way around the ice cream ball so it's fully coated. And this is how you make a cookie dough ice cream ball. I don't know about you, but cookie dough ice cream is one of my favorite ice cream flavors of all time. If I had to delete every single flavor off the face of the earth and I could only have one flavor of ice cream, it would 100% be cookie dough. So I knew when I was making my own ice cream flavors, I had to make sure that our cookie dough fixed the biggest mistake that all cookie dough ice cream has. And that is that they never have enough cookie dough. You have to hunt for it. You can never really find it. So I made sure that we put tons of cookie dough on here for you. You may remember me mentioning earlier about how this was all inspired by watching you try to make videos throwing around ice cream in your house and it just being a big mess. But also, this is inspired by me working with ice cream for over 10 years. I've tried to simplify and take a lot of the stressful process of working in an ice cream shop out of it and keep all of the fun things. Oddly enough, one of the hardest parts about working with ice cream is actually scooping it. It takes a toll on your body, especially for somebody that's worked with it for so long. My wrist hurts so bad and they have pretty much damage for the rest of my life for how much ice cream that I've scooped. And so one thing that I've been able to do with our ice cream shop making the ice cream balls is that we no longer have to scoop ice cream. But that also is better for you because it makes it such a quicker process for the customer. They don't really have to wait in line as long because nobody gets to scoop the ice cream. It also adds a layer of insulation to the outside of your ice cream, so if you want to take it home just like this, it's not going to melt as fast. But best of all, the coating on the outside makes it so it's so much easier for each one of us to throw around the ice cream and do a bunch of fun tricks for you and make sure you get the perfect amount of toppings in each bite. You've made it this far and you've got to learn a ton about our new place, which is Ketchin Ice Cream. But I want to know what you want to know next. We're going to learn so much about this shop over the next few years, and I want you to be a close part of it. So please let me know. And I did not forget, the emoji of the day looks a lot like our logo, and that is the comment emoji. So you know the drill. If you made it to the end, put the comment emoji in your comments so that I know and everyone else knows that you watched the end. I will be making a ton of videos about fall flavors, hopefully very soon. And all of that to say,